Hey, Shalom. Before I begin, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Kakadash. And I want to say to the apostles and elders, great millstone, and Shalom to the Akim teaching his word. Got full coordination and sincerity. And back with another lesson. Through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Will it be edifying unto the elect? Alright, the true name of God is Yahweh, which means he is or he exists. The name of his son, alright, who the world calls Jesus, is Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai. Alright, his name means he saves or he delivers. The topic of this lesson is just, I don't have a specific topic. I might just tell this one again in spirit. Alright, but I just wanted to start with, how the prophets of old, they're back today. Okay, the prophets of old are back, today. Alright, and let's start with Daniel 12 and 13. It says, but go thy way to the NB, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of days. So there's certain men here today that have been, well, the certain prophets of old are here today. Okay, doing what? Prophesying against a wicked society, prophesying against a wicked kingdom. And you may ask yourself, what wicked kingdom are you talking about? Here in America. It's an undeniable fact. That America is the most wickedest, the most off kingdom to date. By the things they allow. Certain things like the alphabet, the momos, the eating whatever you want with the swine, doing basically you can do whatever you want. They have a thing, freedom of religion. You can do whatever you want, worship whatever you want. Okay, and the Lord has set up men, to prophesy the downfall of this place because it has been, very wicked. Okay, this is Jeremiah 28:8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So, it's the same thing that, the prophets of old was doing back then. The scriptures say in Ecclesiastes, in Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, it says, the thing that had been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. So, same how it was back then, how the men of the Lord were prophesying of a downfall of a kingdom. The same times now, we're back again in our lot. Like that's why I brought out that Daniel 12. We back in our lot in these last days, prophesying the downfall of America, and you can clearly see it just by how, Trump is moving with ICE, how the economy is steadily failing. They're purposely decreasing the value of the dollar, trying to replace it with a new universal basic income, which is going to be in the form of, cryptocurrencies and, digital, digital currency. You can see how these nations are moving against, America. America's, moving as the hammer of the earth. Tensions are constantly rising. The way of life is getting harder to live. All these are signs. And even, wars, rumors of wars, the pestilences, the earthquakes in diverse places, the uproars of the people, complaining about their government. These are major signs of what's to come. And the number one sign is the men of the Lord out in the highways and byways. People know who we are now. You had Drewski make a skit about, the men that teach, on the highways in your downtown areas. Yeah, he used IUIC. But the main message is how, everybody has an idea, what's going on, like talking about those men that be, downtown screaming with a lot of their voice, wearing dresses and shit, so everybody knows, who the men of the Lord are. So all these things are just signs from, the Heavenly Father, from Yahweh Shema Shai. The ones that's going to take heed is going to be the elect. But we know that to does right, people won't take heed because, they enjoy, the pleasures of Egypt. Okay? They enjoy the pleasures of Egypt. I want to get, just that's my slocky. They enjoy the pleasures of Egypt for a season, not knowing that this is about to be, one of the worst times in history. This is tell us in 2 Timothy 3:1 that this know that in the last days perilous time shall come. So We're living in days of perilous times. Okay, you know, things are gonna get more, you know, perilous, hard to bear. You know, when you go into that, let's go into that word, you know, perilous, because you can deny that we are not in the last days. You know, we ask people, do you feel like, you know, like how do you feel that the condition of the earth is? It like, you know, feel like we're at the end. All right, things are not how they used to be. All right, it doesn't feel the same. All right, you have Trump moving. How Trump is moving, that's a major sign. The prophets. So it's evident. All right, you can't ignore it. You can't ignore what's happening in the earth, because not only do you not see it, you feel it. Right. The word perilous is hard to take, hard to do, to take, to approach, hard to bear, troublesome, dangerous, harsh, fierce, savage. So, you know, down it says, you know, through the idea of reducing the strength, difficult, dangerous, all right, or by implication, furious, fierce, all right, perilous. All right, what does it say in the Google? It says full of danger or risk, dangerous. So, you know, yeah, we living in those times. Right? Even now, we're living in a time of Jacob's trouble. Our people are being hunted by ICE, being sent back right to the so-called land, if they are. All right, you know, you have, you know, Trump moving like a you know, a cruel king, a cruel lord. All right, all these are, you know, just again, you know, signs, just, you know, signs and signs, just everyday signs and signs. All right, it's Isaiah 19:4. It says, and the Egyptians, you know, can represent, you know, your average, your Americans, Edomites. All right, it says, I give over into the hand of a cruel lord. So, you know, when people voted for Trump, they thought it was gonna be how it used to be, you know, during the C-19 and COVID. But that was just another, you know, another, you know, mystery, another you know, hopeful, you know, thing, right? But the scriptures tell us that the Lord will give, all right, them over to a cruel lord. It says, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. And Trump is moving exactly like that. All right, doing whatever he wants, breaking international law. All right, coming against, okay, you know, the government. All right, you know, not including both parties, acting on its own. All right, coming after Jake, saying whatever you want. You know, there's a video when he went to Ford. All right, you know, he basically some guy at Ford, I believe it was an employee, if I could be wrong, but it was a guy there, definitely. He said, you know, basically called him a pedo. All right, a pedophile, right? And you watch the video, you know, Trump stick the middle finger at him. Is that not how a cruel lord, a dictator, a fierce king would act? Tell somebody to you know, fuck you, right? Basically, he didn't say it out loud, but he uttered, like, you know, you could read it his lips. He said, fuck you, and flip the finger. All right, that's who the Lord has given these that's who the Lord gave these Edomites to, right? It's all to the purpose of his will, all right, to lead to the destruction, all right, of America. Because as I was saying before, because the wickedness is so great. All right, this is Jeremiah 51 and 9. Well, I'm starting at, not 50. It's like, yeah, 51 and 9. It says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Let us go, everyone, into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto the heaven, and is lifted up even to the sky. So, you know, this place cannot be healed. All right, and there's a reason why it won't be healed, because her judgment has reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the sky. So this place has a judgment, you know, coming for this place, man. Because of the wickedness is so great, it has to come to a cutoff point. Because scriptures tell us that, you know, if the days don't be short, no flesh shall be saved. All right, and that's what happens when you have a wicked ruler like Trump, or really Esau, Edom, are in power. All right, he lets you know, sin and wickedness spread like a cancer. All right, it's in the scriptures. Once you've seen certain things, right, you're supposed to, you know, basically, you know, kill that person, right, in the law. All right, because once you allow certain things like, you know, the Momo shit, the Alphabet Gang, you know, people eating pork. And once you allow things like that to happen, it spreads. Right now you have a community. You have a cancer in the earth, you know, spreading like a wildfire. You have them pushing it on, you know, children. All right, pushing it on Jake, you know, in their music. And people are getting influenced by it. And America has very, you know, strong influence. Scriptures tell us that even in the verse above, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken, and nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. So these nations have drunken of the philosophies of this place, and then dealt with this place, right? Got influenced by America, all right, and they did it willingly. But now they see in this place for what it truly is. All right, that's why you're gonna have these different nations come against, all right, to America, which is ultimately just the will of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. You got see how the Lord works. They thought America was their friend. They made deals with America. They got rich off America. But now, all right, America's moving like the hammer of the earth. Now they want to shoot nukes at her. Now they're, you know, seeing America for what it truly is. All right, America's being exposed. And then since Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed, how for her? Take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. So, you know, there's nothing that's gonna be able to heal this place because it's gonna fall. All right, it's prophecy. The same way how it was for, you know, Trump to get in power. The same way how even for us to go into those slave ships was a will of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. This place to be destroyed by 200 million warheads will be destroyed as well. All right. You may 200 million warheads. No, yes, 200 million warheads will touch down here in America. Read Revelation 9. It tells you. All right. You know, but what learning this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahshua, by Hashem Kakodash, and double on the city apostles and Elders Grand Millstone.